welcome to another episode 1. Every episode is episode 1 of Trauma Dump with Zach Adler. I am very excited for today's guest. You are probably the only guest I've ever had on a podcast who I had only just met 2 days earlier and had never heard of before then. But we have a mutual friend who mentioned to me, like, you might want to interview this guy. He might have something interesting to say about something very interesting that happened. So I'm here with Mendy Gerlitzky.
Yeah.
Mendy Gerlitzky. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mendy.
All right. So I am, Crown Heights is my life stream. I've been here my whole life. And in that specific, 770 is, my bris was in 770, my mitzvah was in 770. That's where I dive in every day. Shachas Mincha Ma'ariv. 770 is...
That's where you pray.
770, Eastern Parkway, the Lubavitch World Headquarters. That is my life. Actually, even my father was a gabbai for 15 years in 770. So I know what goes on there. I'm in the know of the show of 770.
Yeah, so you would say that you are like hardcore OG Crown Heights 770.
Oh, yeah.
You eat, live, and breathe.
Spend there my days. That's...
Spend your days. By the way,
Yeah.
Spend your days. You've been a little bit, it was hard to like make this happen because I got your number and then I lost your number. And I don't know if you know this, I went to 770 the day after we met because I was like, I can't believe I lost his number.
Oh.
So I was like looking around 770, just being like, do you know Goritzki? Do you know where Goritzki? And everyone knew you, dude. You're like famous there. Everyone knew you. I'm like, this guy hangs out in 770.
Yeah.
Dude,
Surprised I didn't see you at that time.
I think you were out that one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're 24/7.
Are you're mostly, you're learning there, but you also like, you hang out. It's like your social circle.
Yeah. Kibbutz is a new word people like using.
Yeah. Your kibbutz there.
Oh, yeah.
Dang. Okay. So I think you're the right person to talk to because, I mean, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist, someone who's watching this. Why do I have a guy who hangs out in 770 on the podcast right now? Is because 770 is having a little bit of a moment I would say already the tail end of a moment. And word on the street is you were involved in this moment. You know a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah. So, yeah, naturally I was, I'm in the loop, as they would say. Okay, so first of all, I would like to say like this. Let's just get a little bit of history.
Teach me.
Yeah. The 770 was first the triangle building. That was the original building that the Friedrich Rebbe Rayatz brought in 1940.
The house.
The original house, and then they have the building adjacent. With the time, the community grew. More people were coming, and it was necessary to add more space, and they added more space with the time. Until about, I think, 1973, 74 is mainly what we have today. Then it was constantly getting more and more. We needed the space. In 1988, they actually brought it about for a groundbreaking with the shovel and everything, moved the rocks. And there's famous pictures of that.
I'm going to ask a lot of like...
Yeah, if you
questions.
don't understand the
Chabad... I do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's definitely things about Chabad. I'm a proper snag, so there's things that I don't understand.
Yeah.
But I also am really, truly open that this podcast reaches an outside audience.
Yeah.
So that people...
So if you want to understand any questions.
So, so a lot of clarification. So, the Rebbe, what do you mean? Who's the Rebbe?
The Rebbe...
On one leg, who's the Rebbe? Who are you talking about?
The Rebbe is known as the King Mashiach, and whoever laughs last. When Mashiach comes, we'll see who it is.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, he is the leader of the Chabad movement. Took it over from his father-in-law in 1951.
What was his name?
Menachem Mendel Schneerson. I usually don't like saying his name out of
respect. Right. I didn't.
If you ask,
I didn't try to
say
force
it. I'm not gonna.
Now he lived in the house.
He actually had a private residence on President Street, which is 2 blocks over. But later, after his wife passed away, they moved in on the last period. Anyway, so he's the leader of the Chabad movement and Lubavitch movement, which is actually Lubavitch became famous post World War II because of the outreach movement, but it's been a movement. The Alter Rebbe, he's called Alter Rebbe, started the Chabad philosophy in somewhere in the 1700s. He died in 1812, passed away in 1812, so somewhere in the 1700s already, Chabad movement.
So before Chabad was an outreach, what Jews refer to as kira. Before they were an outreach powerhouse that they are today, they were just a philosophy of life, a way of doing.
Ideology, philosophy of life, within the Hasidic boundaries. A more intellectual way of Hasidic life.
Okay.
Chabad stands for actually Chachma Bina Das.
Yeah, this I've heard. Or what translate that?
Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. It's to get into the Kabbalahs of it. It's the first 3 levels. The world is divided into 10 levels. The first 3 are intellectual. The 7 are emotional. And because Chachma Bina Das, Chesed, Gvura, Teres, and Etzchei, he said Malchus. These are things that whatever. Things that you learn in Hasidus and in, I don't know, expect a snag. I don't
we're getting into it.
Yeah,
snack power.
You called it to yourself, so
no, listen.
I don't expect you to know all these things anyway. So, that's why Chachma in the Das is Rosh Tevis. How do you say that?
I want you to know, by the way,
Chabad.
There's real. I can only speak for myself. There is a real jealousy from the snag towards Chabad, only because we see you guys, and we know you guys are learning the books that we were told not to learn. When you grow up a regular Orthodox Jew, I'll call it the regular flavor, the mainstream flavor, vanilla, whatever you want to call us, you're told, like, we don't learn Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is for Hasidim and it's for Madonna. And that's it. It's not for us. And, how can we not be curious? Like, you guys are...
It actually used to be like that. And with the time, as we get closer to Mashiach, it's explained that it's more important to start revealing these deep secrets of Hashem. The result started by Reb Shimon ben Yochai really started it, but then it was only kept a secret. Only specific people were allowed to know it. Then Rizal started more with the Baal Shem Tov, and with the time, it's actually given a metaphor, if I can say this. I don't know if we're getting off topic, or there's no topic off topic here.
There's no topic off topic. I might just have to wrangle it back to the main one. But what are the main factors leading up to it? And then what actually happened? But I want to, before we get to what actually happened, what led to it? What are the ideas that led to it?
Okay, so as I said, with the time Lubavitch in America post-World War II were getting bigger and bigger, and every time they buy another adjacent property to the original 770 Eastern Parkway, and they expand the synagogue. In 1988, they bring that about for a groundbreaking. They had plans, ideas of making this beautiful shul. I mean, what 770 is today was basically built in 1974, so... For 1974 standards, it was considered a decent shul. But for today's standards, you go to Bav Bell Satmar.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of lacking. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they I know they do it on purpose. They won't change any of the interior of the 770 shul because it's like holy to like that time. They want to keep it at that time. Am I correct in that?
Well, I don't know if that's an excuse because you had the story a couple of years ago in Meron. You had 45 people, Chas v'shalom, that unfortunately got killed. Because of crowd control.
Right.
There is a necessary of crowd. It gets very crowded at times. On an average day, not, but on Yom Tovim.
Wait, why are you bringing that up? What's going to do with the...
Why? Oh, because you want to know what happened. Why, quote unquote, the tunnel story and why people...
That's why they're...
No, not... I'm just giving an example. That's not what triggered it. What triggered it is that...
What triggered it?
So that's what, in 1988, the Rebbe came and made a groundbreaking. They were going to build. They built only a little bit. And the Rebbe actually published an essay called Kuntres Beis Rabbeinu Shebebavel, explaining, this is already in the winter of 1991, explaining the kedusha of all shuls, the holiness of synagogues in general, shuls in general, and 770 especially being the base medrash of the Nasi Adar. The Rebbe is the Nasi Adar, the leader of world Jewry and his shul with the Rebbe, it's all sources, not only the Rebbe's own feelings. There's everything over there. You can look it up. I believe a couple of years ago, Rabbi Waiwa even gave a text-based shir on it. It's all the sources from Gemaras, Midrashim, and everything.
Sure.
It's called Kuntres Beis Rabbeinu Shebebavel. You can look it up.
So did this essay talk about plans for how to expand?
It doesn't say the plans over there, but it says that it's important as we're coming closer to Mashiach, and this is coming, the base where Mashiach is going to be revealed. That's what the Rebbe said over there. It's important and it's necessary because of all the people are coming to expand and build the shul. And actually, the Chabad establishment movement owned the adjacent properties.
So they could have
They
expanded.
could. I don't know.
So let me ask a basic question.
Why didn't
they ever do it? Why did not get it?
So, till they got their act together, and in the meantime, 1994 comes. We don't see the Rebbe anymore. Things slow down, and then politics happen in Lubavitch. In the higher up,
What is this politics?
Control politics.
Let me tell you about So as an outsider who lives a few blocks away from this but isn't really involved, from what I can understand, some of the politics is that you have a lot of young, very fervent, real L'chia Adonenu Mishches Chabad guys with just very young, a lot of energy, and then you've got quote unquote the powers that be, the old guard, the mainstream,
the normal.
The normal, yeah, sure, for lack of a better term.
If it's possible to have a normal Lubavitcher, I don't know. You tell me as an outsider.
I don't know. I'm not yet. I haven't seen.
It's a question. Food for thought?
Is that the power struggle you're talking about? Is that the politics? Is that these young guys wanted what do you mean? The Rebbe said we got to build this thing bigger, and they were just like, nah, red tape. We can't yet. Bureaucracy.
Well,
am I right or am I not really on the ball?
No, you're on the ball.
So again, clarify. So that these young guys who were really responsible, I'm assuming it's mostly young guys who built the tunnels. They were basically just going ahead and doing what they felt was right because the old guard, the mainstream,
weren't doing anything.
They were dragging their feet.
Yeah.
Because they also believe that everyone believes the shul should get bigger.
And build a nice, beautiful shul.
And they're just not.
Yeah.
And so their idea.
So many stupid technical, political,
yeah,
reasons.
Sure.
Yeah.
Political, did any of it have to do with zoning laws? Like New York stuff?
No. Within.
Just Chabad politics. The only thing standing between 770 being the way it is now and 770 as it could be, nice and big and huge, is
inside political politics.
Yeah,
money's not even a problem. If people know that it's going to
you guys got money.
Yeah, money.
There's money.
Yeah.
Chabad's got money.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I understand that.
A little bit. Okay,
a little bit. I'm sure we could
throw any question.
We could do 30 podcasts on the politics, I'm sure, between Chabad. Well, actually, no, I do have a question.
Yeah.
So, is there a real antagonism? Is there real anger between these groups, between these young, kids, basically, and the old guard? Do they hate each other, or I don't want to say hate. Do they get into fights often?
I can't speak for everybody, but definitely they don't.
I do need you. I only ask that you be honest to what you see.
Yeah. I mean, they don't see eye to eye. I would hope to say that in a personal level, people respect each other, and that's important. There's no reason why we have to take our ideological beliefs and make it personal. You don't mix family, business, and pleasure. What's the same?
Yeah.
You can have people who are arch competitions in business, but then they go golfing together, vacation.
So as far as you are
by and large, there even been Mishachist and anti-Mishachist families and made Shidduchim. I mean, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I think by and large, on a personal level.
So you got this antagonism, and as far as you're concerned, we're not talking. These guys aren't getting into fistfights with each other. It's mostly respectful, but there's some real heated arguments about.
I wouldn't say never. Things never got physical, but yeah, by and large.
Okay. I feel like I know which side would win in a fistfight because one side's a lot younger. Now, is it mostly...
No, they are young people.
On the other side.
Yeah, they are young people who are anti-Mishachist. They are older people who are Mishachist. It's not just young and old.
Why do you think that... Let me clarify. Is there a dichotomy here where the guys who are pushing for the tunnel, who are building the tunnel, who are saying, we got to stop dragging our feet, we got to build the shul bigger now, they're all Mishachist. Why were there no anti-Mishachist people who... Because at the end of the day, just because they don't believe the Rebbe's Mashiach, why don't they want to build the shul bigger also?
Well, technically, because most, by and large, antis don't daven in 770, but...
Oh, that is a good reason.
Yeah. So they don't, I guess they don't really have a feeling for the place.
Is it fair to say that 770 as a synagogue and as a stronghold of Chabad has really, it just is a Mishachist. It's really
part
just...
of the Seder in 770 that they say after davening and after...
Yeah.
But
that is a shul where everyone believes the Rebbe.
Yeah, but I want to also make it clear. I would also clear to say it's safe to say that 99.99% of Lubavitch do believe the Rebbe's Mashiach. You may find 1 out of 1,000, but I think that all boils down to is the PR. do we keep it a secret to ourselves, or do we shout it from the rooftops? That's where it boils down, the whole machlekes between in Lubavitch.
Interesting.
Because it's black and white in the Rebbe's sichos and the Rebbe's works that he's Mashiach. So,
right.
And the Rebbe encouraged the singing of Yechia Dinenu.
That's black and white, according to you. That's black and white.
I mean,
The Rebbe encouraged it.
On live television at times.
Okay.
So
it's almost like a false, like the outside world, you would think there's mishkas and there's anti-mishkas. They think the Rebbe is Messiah, they don't. But really, you're saying it's 99% do, and it's just the people who say it out loud and the people who keep it to themselves?
Yeah, because they think that,
Why do they keep it to themselves?
Shouting it from the rooftops is just going to make Lubavitch look crazy, quote unquote. So they're trying to protect the image of Lubavitch, that it should look normal.
Do you think would it be safe to assume that the people who do shout from the rooftops do not care to look normal because they believe it's the truth? And if you believe something's the truth, why look normal?
Well, you don't have to.
Why bend your will to what other people will think?
Well, kind of, yes, but you don't have to bedafka look retarded. You can try to do it a normal way. But let me ask you, Lubavitch, the Rebbe started, I don't know if you're familiar with the mitzvah tanks.
I mean, I see him. I hear him and I see him driving around. Yeah, they're these
going on the street in the '60s. The Rebbe started it already, putting on the phone with someone on the street. It kind of looked a little bit crazy, but now it's already, I don't know, out of Lubavitch.
It's so normalized now that I don't even blink twice. I walked out of a rock concert at Music Hall Williamsburg last year, Hanukkah time, and I got hit in the face by a menorah that a kid was leaning out of a mitzvah tank, yeeted it at my face. Just
how did he know you were Jewish?
My nose, maybe? I don't know. I had a vibe around me. I had a vibe about me.
He's like, here's a menorah.
I think he just took an educated guess. He's like, Jew, Jew. I didn't even blink an eye. I was like, oh, of course there's a van here, a tank, with a child throwing menorahs
so when
out of it.
Started, it was like a revolutionary thing. People said, crazy calling it a tank. A tank sounds very scary. It sounds you're going on the streets, putting on the phone with people in the streets. Phone something you do in the show in the morning. You go in the afternoon on the streets. So, yeah, I mean, the Rebbe said we do it. Then we went ahead as soldiers and we go and do it. So I don't know why it came to Mashiach and all of a sudden some people started getting scared of their shadow.
Right.
But I can't speak for them. I'm on the other side.
Yeah, something about the Mashiach.
I'm on the other side of the...
No, you strike me very much as a loud and proud shout from the rooftops type of guy.
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely get that energy from you. Okay, so to bring it back to the tunnels. So now you've set the stage for what's going on. How long were these tunnels being built without anyone knowing? Without anyone from the old guard that would have been anti them? How long was this being kept a secret?
All right, now, before I continue, could I just set the record straight about the tunnel thing?
Please do.
The whole word tunnel rubs me the wrong way.
I knew you were going to say this, and I'm glad I'm giving you... Yeah, I know. Yeah. I already know what you're going to say, but please.
How do you know?
Because I've talked about other Lubavitch guys about the tunnels, and it's not really a tunnel, right?
Yeah. So this whole story, if you brand it the right way, so a lot of what happens in the world in general has to do with PR and how you brand it. You brand it that the show's too small, we need to expand space. Oh, that sounds very beautiful. If you start saying tunnels and you connect it to the Hamas war, everybody's like, wow, this is bad PR. So there was a lot of bad... Also. Yeah, so that's why I'm happy actually to do this interview.
It sounds a lot more anti-Semitic, the word tunnels.
I'm happy to do this interview actually to set the record straight of what actually happened, because I think it's a lot of fake news. And actually, frankly, the people who coined the word tunnel just to get extra ratings and, to have what the shmoo's about, owe an apology to all those people. All the hostages are sitting in tunnels for the past 4 months, whatever it is, 130 something days. So excuse my ignorance that I'm not wearing a number. I can wear a shovel and a microphone and a number.
Please show. Can you show the camera? Now I want to do the explanation of this because I love that you're wearing this and I want one, by the way. Can you get me one?
Yeah, sure.
So he's wearing a shovel on the lapel, but it's not. Is it a Mashiach flag also?
No, it says here expand. Here it says expand 770, and there is a little 770 in the shovel.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So.
All right, I think I want to be on Team Expand, so I would like a shovel. I'm gonna put it on my go. It's also kind of pretty.
Yeah, sure.
But okay, that's amazing.
Afterwards.
Yeah. So you were saying. You're saying about so.
So they actually and Tani, it's improper. It's not accurate reporting. And they just used a juicy word to get.
Well, let me push back. Let me push back. As an outsider who didn't, look too much, I see a video online, the same video we all saw, the one that sparked 1,000 memes. dude with a big old black hat crawling out of what looks like a sewer grate out onto the street. How is that not a tunnel?
That is, you know what it teaches you in life? That not everything you see is 100% true in the media and the world out there. Because,
I'm in show business, I know.
Yeah, you can take a story and that was not a tunnel. That's actually the area where they were digging out. They were preparing or attempting to prepare. I'll get to the actual details. He was coming out of that area, but this is not a tunnel.
That was like
tunnel
the
means
dig
a
zone.
small area where you come out from point A and you go under something to point B. You come in Manhattan, you get to New Jersey with the Holland Tunnel. This is not
exactly.
The accurate story is that they hollowed out an area adjacent to 2770, which is actually there's the woman. Under the women's section. There's two women's sections on the right and the left. So one of them already has under that open area where people were part of the shoal. The other area was just earth, and the other women's section was on the earth. There was nothing under.
There's nothing. So that's where they were digging.
So they dug out that area, hollowed it out, hoping to expand that the shoal should have, just like to have one women's section and under the women's section people daven, the other women's section also people can dive in under there.
They were just trying to build a new
or
part of the show,
extension.
An extension. So
now,
like getting a new bathroom in a house. Like they just wanted a new.
Now there was a lot of bad PR about it because the word tunnel, Hamas war, was connected to it.
To be fair, some of the bad PR though is these are not exactly professional contractors. It's a bunch of 20-somethings, probably younger, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like 16-year-olds, mostly from Israel, who come and they're just like, yeah, so we have a building, we want to make it bigger. I know, I'll pick up a shovel. Like, that's not... You can understand why some people look askance at that.
Yeah.
Like, these... First of all, isn't that kind of dangerous? Like, you could be ruining a building's integrity.
They didn't ruin any integrity of the building.
But how did they know they weren't?
They had contractors that won't put their name on there for obvious reasons.
No.
That came in.
This is juicy. They consulted with contractors.
Yeah.
Michigan's contractors.
I'm not gonna say what their beliefs are. I don't even know if they're Jewish.
They just paid them enough money.
He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you to dig or don't dig, but if you're gonna do it, put a beam here, put a beam there.
That right there, that tidbit was worth the whole interview itself.
Yeah.
So you have a bunch of 20-year-old kids finding a contractor and being like, can we do this? And he's like, go for it.
The initiative unveiling of it in according to plan was obviously to only reveal it after you put already a proper floor, lights, benches, tables,
air conditioning. How are you going to do that without anyone noticing? How are you going to get like nice lights and tiling in there? So, this is my main question.
Yeah.
They're doing this in secrecy to hide it from the Chabad guys that are not going to like it.
Because you see, when they found out, they went ahead and stopped it.
Yes. But what the heck was their plan? You cannot build a proper room with lighting and plumbing and tile floors without someone noticing.
They were hoping. Listen, I'm not the...
What is the plan there?
I was not from the strategic planners, but I can tell you this was the idea.
You said, no, quick aside. You were not of the strategic planners.
No.
You pick up a shovel at any point.
I'm not going to confirm or deny what I did or what
That's
I did
a yes.
Public record.
That's a yes. Okay, sure. Sure. Okay.
So the unveiling was, in theory, it sounds nice, but practically, I don't know. I guess it didn't work out.
Well, my next question is what happened? How'd they find out?
How somehow people heard. They found out, as you said, eventually it wouldn't just be a take down the wall and boom, there's a beautiful room with lights, tiles. So
didn't something specific happen? Like maybe someone caught someone like walking into, here's what I have trouble with is there a hole somewhere in the inside of 770 now that's being like covered up by something?
No, after they broke the wall, they closed 770 for 2-3 days and fixed everything back up, and now.
But like while it was being built, there was no like hole into it. You couldn't enter through the inside of 770.
No.
So where was the entrance? It was by some mikveh, right?
An abandoned
mikveh.
Yeah.
Which is where, like
on the corner of Union and Kingston.
On the corner. Okay, so like right there's an abandoned mikveh.
And they were going in from there, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, that was the idea was to make such an unveiling. Now obviously it didn't happen.
God had other plans for their unveiling.
Yeah.
They got unveiled to the NYPD.
Yeah, no. Why they busted the wall open in such a way was because when the establishment heard what happened, they said we're going to stuff this up with cement. The whole dugout
immediately.
area. Yeah, which is about let's say 20 feet wide. I think it was, my wild guess, it's about 20 feet wide, some 100 and something feet deep.
Bigger than this room.
Yeah, way bigger than this room.
Oh, jeez.
Tell you want to turn the camera.
Not right now.
Whatever, yeah, but it was
It's a sizable hole.
yeah, I mean, yeah, would add a nice amount of space to 770.
Sounds like a
So
tunnel.
they brought a.
It sounds like a tunnel.
Wasn't
PR aside.
They hollowed out an area. Wasn't done.
All right. True.
Yeah.
They hollowed
Maybe
it.
this is maybe we're in a tunnel also.
I prefer to call basements tunnels. Yeah.
Yeah.
I live in a tunnel part. I don't. I live above ground, but I've lived in tunnels. Okay. So what happens is the establishment finds out.
They bring a cement truck.
Who's cement truck? Who are they calling? The government?
No.
Private?
They within the.
Within a Chabad guy with a cement truck.
I don't know if they called it Geisha company probably, but within the establishment they decide we're
just gonna hush, close this up. They don't want.
That's it.
So then, why did NYPD get involved?
Oh, so Bachram see that the cement truck are coming. Now most of the Bachram who were involved with opening the wall and going inside weren't even diggers or weren't even involved. They heard that there's a hollow place and like we're sitting stuff in the show. Why don't we use this hollow space? And like, oh, not only we're not using it, now they're coming with the cement truck. So they open up the wall, and then people call in. I don't know who was the one that actually called the NYPD. I don't know. The NYPD was brought in, like, oh, you're opening up a wall, and this gets chaotic. It does look wild when you don't hear the nuances of the story. It looks a little crazy, guys with sledgehammers breaking walls. But I'm just hope to add some nuances to the story.
I think you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
It's the great thing about this story is, and I did want you to come out here to shed some truth because there's been some bad PR.
Yeah.
But the good thing about this story is that even with the nuance, this is an insane story.
So yeah, it is. I'm not saying
it's insane. It involves some stupidity. I love it. It's a great story, regardless.
I'm not gonna say every single thing was done in the most smartest and
no, I don't think it
tactical
was.
way.
No, I don't think it was.
Yeah.
I think it has very much the stamp of a plan put together by young, fervently religious, young men. This is very young men activity.
Listen, I could have complaints on the establishment that, like, listen, I understand you're upset that they went behind your back and started this digging and expansion or renovations, whatever you want to call it, but put your own ego on the side. And once they already got the job, once they got the ball rolling, why don't you go ahead with it and take it out of the park?
Why, you guys were upset that their immediate response was, I don't care that you got the ball rolling. We're covering up, done. Because you didn't go by us. You didn't go through us.
Yeah. So it's kind of selfish because, like, you didn't ask me. We didn't give permission for it. So.
Okay. Why did the NYPD get called?
I didn't call them. I don't know.
Here's what I heard.
Yeah.
And I want you to be honest if it's true or not. What I heard is that once the cement truck came in and the young Bachram who were involved in this, the young students who were doing this, saw what the establishment guys did. They called, instead of letting them keep the ball rolling, they brought in the cement truck. They got angry, and a little bit of violence, not like real dangerous violence, but some violence erupted. And from what I heard, guys were ripping tiles out of the wall in 770 and throwing them at each other.
No, it wasn't. They weren't throwing tiles at people. Actually, from what I do understand is that there's a panel on the wall there. Behind the panel is bricks.
Yeah.
Behind the bricks was earth, and they took out that earth. Now, before they opened the wall, they took out an area of bricks, and they were convinced. They were under the impression that if they peel off the layer of panel, which is 1/8 of an inch, that's it. The area would be open, and people will see that there's an open, ready area, and hopefully they'll get the ball rolling or whatever. I don't know what the plan exactly was, but they didn't realize that right before the cement truck, a worker came and blocked up the hole with bricks, so they had to take out the bricks. But I don't think, by and large, it wasn't a violent event. Just most people didn't chop what was going on. So you just see people with sledgehammers breaking a wall, and they called police. It's just natural to call police when
someone walked in like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, there's hundreds of people walking.
There's this crazy famous video of like this Italian police guy just like talking to the camera in 770, like, we don't do this. Like, I didn't really see the video. I think
the NYPD actually handled the whole situation very professional. I don't have any complaints on them.
You're not just saying that for bureaucracy reasons?
No.
Political?
No, I don't
you really believe that?
They were called by the owners of the building that we there's people breaking our walls, and we.
Does someone technically own 770? Is it a group of people? Is there like who has the deed to that building? Who owns
The
770?
actual building,
Who gets to decide what happens to that wall?
Well, there is a litigation within the establishment. There's the Merkaz Le'Nei Chinuch, which is like the anti-Mashiachist, and they're the establishment.
So within the establishment, guys,
and then
there's a rift about fighting.
And then there's
control.
the control of the shul called the Gabayim.
Bro, this is Game of Thrones,
Yes,
770 edition.
This is public information because they've been in court for 20 years over who should be in charge of the shul. The establishment within Chabad wants to take control of the shul because they don't like the Yechi stuff that goes on there.
Right.
So but this was an agreement on both sides of the aisle of the establishment that we can't let this expansion happen for whatever reason they have.
How many people you think in total were involved in the actual project of building this hole? We'll call it not a tunnel. This open space.
I'll call it. I think the best word project. I think the best word would be this failed attempt to expand the shul.
Sure. How many people?
So that's everybody. No matter what your opinion, I think at this point already, most people, at least in Lubavitch, are like very opinionated about what happened in the 70s. So I believe, and not everybody's going to agree with my spin on the story, although I'm trying to state accurate facts. But I believe everybody would be happy with the term of, instead of calling it tunnels, just call it a failed attempt to make an expansion.
We'll call it the failed expansion. The failed expansion?
Or attempt at an expansion. And while it failed, everybody's going to already
I'm just going to call it Bob the Builder. How many people were involved in Bob the Builder?
I don't know exactly.
Is this like 5 guys and I know you can't incriminate yourself. There's 5 guys, or is this like hundreds of guys every day coming in with shovels? Like
it was. I don't know. I can't give you exact numbers, but I know.
If you were to guess, like
it was going on for a few years.
Years? I thought like weeks or maybe a month or 2. Years.
Yep.
How much cement or gravel had to be? Where were you guys putting the dirt? The stuff you were shoveling?
I don't know.
You actually don't know? Because maybe I'll interview the guy who knows. I want to know where they put it.
I'm not going to say on the record.
Okay, fair. You're playing hardball. I like it. Fair.
Yeah.
It's good. You could work in politics. This is Bill Clinton could be taking lessons from you right now.
You should become a lawyer or a politician.
Yeah. The one thing you should not become is a contractor. I'm sorry, that's still blowing my mind. This is one of the most famous synagogues on planet Earth, maybe the most famous synagogue on Earth. And years, it was an illegal and unauthorized building project, excavation project happening.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They were working slow in order not to get detected.
Yeah.
But they managed to take out a nice amount of earth.
I mean, you said a space bigger than this room we're in right now. That is a decent amount of earth. The next question I have is gonna be touchy, but like we have to bring it up. That's part of why you're here, is to set the record straight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big follower of anti-Semitic Twitter. I like to keep my finger on the pulse of what the really crazy people are saying about the Jews. And you best believe, and I'm sure you're aware, beyond the word tunnel, the thing that everyone really just grabbed onto is that there was that mattress. There was a stained mattress in the room. The footage that came out of the not tunnel, the space had a child carriage or some sort of like child thing. Maybe it was like a high seat and the mattress. And all the conspiracy-minded, crazy, nuts ran with that.
All right, listen.
Why was it there? Set the record. What was it there?
Just set the record straight, the technical facts, why those were there. The mattresses were used to hollow out the sound. So, as you said, the 770, a big show, people are coming and going. How they never got detected, they used mattresses and they lined it along the wall. So
they soundproofed it with old mattresses.
Basically, that's
okay. That would explain the mattress.
And the height there was just, was just the.
Would you say it's just trash?
Yeah, it was just random trash. It wasn't. Yeah, it was just random trash.
Okay.
Technically, I mean, if you really want to know, I know the guy. Someone was keeping storage in the area there, and he had a old high chair. So about the high chair.
Yeah, so about the high chair. Yeah, so you know the guy.
There's a guy, a younger man in this neighborhood that has some storage in the area. And
what does that mean?
A young guy, whatever.
A young guy?
A guy in the neighborhood that
who has kids, apparently.
He keeps some storage, and he bought a new high chair, so he put the old high chair there. He thought he might need to use it, and he forgot to throw it out.
I'm assuming this guy is a heavy-duty, like, Michigas, like, pro the building.
No, there's nothing to... He happens to be his Michigas, but I don't even think...
My friend.
He knew about this whole building. He definitely wasn't involved. I
have been giving you good faith this entire interview. I believe everything coming out of your mouth. My friend, this guy who has kids and has a high chair, has an old high chair, and thinks to himself, where am I going to put this? Not the attic, not a closet in my house.
He lives in an apartment building. They needed...
So he put it in the illegal hole that the kids are building in 770?
No.
Oh, so...
It was next to the... illegal digging, or you want to call it.
Oh, he had it like nearby.
Nearby, yeah. So in order to get there,
where, by the mikveh?
Yeah, the mikveh's abandoned, and he stores random things there.
Oh, by okay.
And in order to get there, you have to walk by, and it happens to be an old high chair. That's exactly the store with no.
So the high chair was by the mikveh. It wasn't in like the shul area.
Yeah. It was next.
It was just this guy keeping his old crap.
Yeah.
By the abandoned mikveh that you guys used as the starting point for the digging.
Yeah, and like when you walked by, it was like he had that, and he had an old shop, a book. Like,
yeah, there was other stuff. I bet he regrets having that high chair.
Actually, he told me that he wanted to throw it out, and just like Batlanis said, he didn't throw it out. He was going to think of throwing it out a few years ago already.
Listen, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. Listen, the anti-Semites are always going to look for excuses to hate on us.
Hey,
so
I will throw the anti-Semites a bone here.
Yeah.
They're crazy. You know, I believe that their all brands of anti-Semitism, especially the conspiratorial brand, is a form of brain rot. So they're crazy. But I'll throw them a bone. Yeah. This one was pretty... We gave them something on a silver plate. This was the softest, slowest, sweetest pitch to anti-Semites I've ever heard in my life. I became more anti-Semitic just from the entire experience. I got to ask.
Listen, I think the Rebbe's approach in general to anti-Semitism over the years was to do pro-Semitism. Instead of just like making another rally and another meeting and getting some other politician to condemn anti-Semitism, the Rebbe was very pro-Semitism. Be proud about your Judaism. Go out, as we said earlier about the mitzvah things. Display the menorahs in public. You know how much now already came a norm that every city in America or around the world has a public menorah during Hanukkah. When the Rebbe started that, you know how much fights he got from within Jews that saying that you're inciting anti-Semitism. And the Rebbe had a different approach, which obviously... actually, if we look, I as a Lubavitcher, I'm trying to sound objective, but whatever the Rebbe did and predicted was always proven right. If you look in retrospective, in hindsight, at the heat of the moment, a lot of people were like, whoa, what crazy idea. But let's take Eretz Yisrael for an example. How much Rebbe scream about Camp David, giving away land, making a two-state solution, and how much backlash Rebbe got for his opinion, and Rebbe was very vocal about his opinion. And in hindsight, we see what giving away Gaza just caused. Unfortunately, how many lives were killed the simple state. I mean, Rebbe also was a big advocate for Eretz Yisrael, and Rebbe always said Eretz Yisrael is the safest place in the world.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you're going to do stupid things, you could say your house is very safe, but if you're not going to lock the door at night, you're not going to put an alarm system.
I hope you don't mind. I am going to steer the conversation back just because I can only handle one extremely controversial Jewish event at a time, and Israel's a whole other can of worms. So
why not? Can we talk about it a little?
I actually would prefer not to, only because I have a feeling me and you will disagree on a lot of it, and it's not the conversation I want to have. It's not the conversation I want to have, but certainly I'll say this much. We agree that 10-7 was a very, very bad thing, and when it comes to Israel politics, I'm also a real mamish die-in-the-wool ignoramus. I don't know the history. I have a lot of research I need to do, and I don't like to talk about things until I have at least a semblance of knowledge in them. So unless you are an expert in the geopolitics of the Middle East region, that's not the conversation I want to have with you. You are an expert in what the frick happened at the tunnels. So that's why, that's my prerogative. But
no, fair enough.
I do want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
As someone who, was very involved in this story personally. And I don't know how much of the internet you have. You did tell me earlier, off camera, that you've seen my old podcast. Did you see any of the memes, and did you like any of them?
I'll be honest, I don't really follow social media. Period. In the
I'm
sense.
a little jealous of you. Good for you. You should know that there were some actually anti-Semitic memes, but then there were some that were just funny. There was some really, really good stuff. I might have to show you off camera some really good stuff.
Yeah. Probably some of them actually just meant it in good humor. I mean,
yeah.
But I don't. As I said, a lot of it is just noise, and the anti-Semites are going to hate on us anyways. I'm not saying to give them
You shouldn't give
a golden platter, but
I think we're in agreement, Mendy.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer. I had friends. I made a few jokes about it, and I was sharing some of the memes. And I got a few people who were telling me, like, hey, like, it's a really sensitive thing. There's a lot of anti-Semitism about this. And you know what I told them? My personal opinion is hate is going to hate. Anti-Semitism is going to happen. This is objectively hilarious, and I'm allowed to laugh at it as a Jew who thinks it's funny. We did a funny thing. It's hilarious.
But Jews throughout all our tzaddis, our best medicine Jews had was always the
laughter. Exactly.
Laughter and the humor.
Why would you can't don't let the anti-Semites ruin our fun.
Yeah.
It's our tunnel and it's our jokes. We get to do what we want, you know?
But on the other hand, we have to be careful when we send things out to
the greater world.
Yeah. What goes around between a few friends in shul, on a WhatsApp group from the classmates, or what goes out in the rest of the world. So people, I think it's a lesson to be learned that people should think twice before you send anything out. Is this something that's gonna?
Yeah.
I mean, as a Lubavitcher, I would say, is this something that's gonna bring Mashiach closer or not? But if you're not a Lubavitcher, if you're a snag, you can say, is this something that's gonna make a Kiddush Hashem or Chil Hashem? It's gonna add in anti-Semitism, or it's gonna be something in pro-Semitism.
Can I do have to. No, I have to close up. I really appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate you like talking this story. I want a blessing, only if it's true.
Yeah.
Is this podcast? I put this out with you explaining the way you see things. Is this bringing us closer to Mashiach or not?
I'm hoping, because there's actually, in 1990s.
No! I triggered another history lesson. All right, yeah, 1990.
In the 1990s, the Rebbe actually took the Mashiach campaign to the next level and was like really getting people hyped up about it.
Yeah,
and people wondering how are people in the whole world going to know about this, about Mashiach? And Rebbe Lubavitch, I mean, in the Frommer world, okay, fine, people know about it, but Mashiach's for the whole world. It's not just for Lubavitch, and it's not just for Frommer Yidden, it's not just for the
Mashiach is for you.
Exactly. So in 1991, Hashem came with the negative story, but it helped get Lubavitch and Crown Heights and the Rebbe on the map in the global PR. And there was a Crown Heights riot. You ever heard of it?
Yeah.
So I think it was August 91, and the Rebbe it was the Rebbe's motorcade. Someone from the Rebbe's motorcade hit a kid, and it caused riots. It was a negative story, but it brought Lubavitch, the Rebbe at that time, on the global map. Television and news kept on coming at 770 to talk about the Rebbe and what's going on with the Mashiach.
It brought press.
Yeah. As I say, bad coverage is better than no coverage.
Oh, right. There's no such thing as bad press.
Exactly. So
in
retrospective, am I going to invite a negative story? No, but once we're at once it happened, in retrospect, how many people around the world heard about the Rebbe Lubavitch in 770?
Because of this digging.
Yeah.
Because of those shovels.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely want one of those. I'm going to hold you to.
I can give you my personal one.
Let's
I'll get another
camera,
one.
Baby. Let's do it on camera.
Sure, no problem.
I feel like I'm being knighted.
You'll put on your baseball cap and your sweater. Where are you gonna put it?
I don't even know yet. I'm gonna put it. Oh, how does this even work? What do I do with the other? Oh, there's
first poke it in, then you with these things.
Okay. This is really good content. Watch. I want everyone to watch me fail to put this on. Yeah, I'm gonna do this later. Yeah. I'm not gonna poke myself live on camera.
Yeah.
But I'm truly honored. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Zach.
Mendy, appreciate it.
Now.
Mashiach now, baby. Let's go.
I've actually said you should start conversations with Mashiach now.
We'll edit it in. I'll have my editing team put it in at the beginning.
Okay, Zach is on. Thank you. It was nice.